creature you're going to run into kind of all over the place, but most prominently in Gilneas. So these are the pygmies. I love these little guys. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of them in subsequent expansions, but we're going to see them all over the starting Goblin experience. Then we have pufferfish that act like pufferfish. Vashir is an enormous new zone, so we created a lot of aquatic sea creatures to fill up the area, like turtles. And I think that's it. So thanks, Steve. Thanks, animation team. On the dungeon.
That one, Butch.
Sure. So I wanted to show you a little behind-the-scenes look at how we create dungeons in our game, World of Warcraft. So let's start off with a screenshot from one of our newer dungeons, Old Doom. So if you were to take away the props, the lighting, the effects, the textures, and then you start to dumb down the shapes, basically what you have left to look at is, well, not that interesting. So how we get from that to this, to the final product, is a process of concepts, ideas, brainstorming, design layouts, and probably most importantly, the imagination of the creators, our teams. So you can start to break down the elements. Maybe. There we go. You can start to break down the elements, and each piece combines to make a cohesive imaginative part of the world. I think the funnest part for us is when we get to start brainstorming, taking the layout, and then come up with the ideas like these. As the 2D layout is created, it's the dungeon's responsibility to interpret what the frame is going to look like. I emphasize how transitory our dungeons can be. The end result is by far much more spectacular than what we first came up with, and that's saying something from those concepts. It's a little before and after shots, just the block out, and then the final version. So the dungeon team gathers reference from many resources. I'm having a hard time here. There we go. We take our research very seriously, and we like to study to make sure the colors work, get the right set of textures and materials. So easy. Just go down to the old Home Depot. As well as making sure the structure fits with the culture kit. We also have to make sure that the scale is correct, so that every character, whether you're a gnome, a human, a blood elf, got to make sure that they fit through the door as well as be able to navigate this play space in the dungeon. We also like to draw what inspires us. Spikes. And we like to give each other feedback, usually very maturely. Take it well. I think one of the challenges we faced when we started working on Skywall, again, one of the new dungeons in Cataclysm, was how to make the buildings look like they floated and were emerging from the clouds. This idea created an effect that was made specifically for Skywall Dungeon. Here's some of the concepts. So awesome. So although it may look strange in the 3D program, the effect in the game gave us the look we were trying to go for. Our modeler went back and forth with the programmers to get just the right look, and a lot of trial and error. but I think they were pretty successful. The destructive force of Cataclysm gave us an opportunity to remodel 2 of our main cities, Orgrimmar and Stormwind. So we donned on our hard hats and went to work recreating Orgrimmar. Here's just a couple of before and after shots. You'll notice we kept the spikes in, probably added more to it, I'd say, by 120%. It's a little better. So as a dungeon lead, I like to encourage my guys to really involve themselves in the dungeon creation process, and hopefully that comes across when you play our dungeons. That's it. Thank you.
Hi guys, thanks for coming. My name is Gary Plattner. I'm the lead environment artist. On the environment team, our responsibility is for the exterior parts of the world. We're responsible for all the natural elements and all the things that make up all of that. So we have a lot of great tools that do that, a lot of great painting tools, and our editor is wonderful. But you have to keep in mind that every zone we've ever done is basically, it's not procedural. That means everything is pretty much done by hand. So when we start a new zone, we want to make sure that the entire zone looks as though one guy painted it, like it's a painted picture by one person, so it looks natural. Because when we start a new zone, we basically have nothing. We have a few Illustrator maps, but what we want to get and what we want to start with is a concept piece. This is our roadmap for the zone.
One of the most exciting parts of my job is to paint some of the concept images for the new zones that we develop. For example, Gilneas was one of my favorites. We wanted to make this place a home for the Worgen, and so the type of characters and culture that we had talked about needed to be kind of reflected in that environment. So, you know, my feeling was it should be kind of cold and rainy, forested,